CHSN 2016 season kickoff preview show. I'm Brad Cameron along with Jim Alderson here with Sallisaw Central High School tonight. They're having the big scrimmage, first one of the season with the Westville Yellow Jackets came down, and this is kind of the kickoff night for all the scrimmages around. Actually, it's not. Last night was actually the kickoff night for most of the scrimmages around the state. So, you know, we picked one here close that we could get to, and we want to come out here and check Central out. We're going to come this season, so we're here for Central and Westville. Yep. So, you know, this is our kickoff show, our preview show. We're going to preview, you know, all the teams that we're going to cover this year. You know what we're going to do for them? We're going to even preview the districts. Yeah. Districts, and we're going to talk about some of the games we're going to do. Really exciting time. Of course, you know what next week is, don't you? It's week 0, so we have our first broadcast of the year next week. And Jim, what do you think about the schedule this season for CHSN? And we'll talk about some of the games as well. I'm off too.
Okay. But when we pick out the games, I love them. You know, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Iron Bowl, Eufaula at Sequoyah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, that's a 100-year rivalry. 101 years.
101 years now. Yep. Last year was the 100-year, and you know, I don't know off the top of my head what their record was against each other.
Last year it was 50 and 48 and 1, but we don't know who won last year.
I think Sequoyah won last year.
Okay. But we don't know who was the 50 and who was the 48.
Don't know who's the 50. I bet the 50 was you. I don't know. No idea. That's a big game we're looking forward to. We also have Muldrow Roland this season. That's going to be a huge rivalry game. Speaking of rivalry games, we got a huge 4A4 rivalry between Sallisaw Poto, which is every year. I mean, big-time rivalry. Sallisaw and Poto always battling for a playoff spot in 4A4.
Yes.
We also, one of our bigger games on the schedule this year was September the 9th. It is Prairie Grove, Arkansas, at Vian to take on the Vian Wolverines. Vian, you know, they're ranked in different positions in Class 2A in several different polls, but Prairie Grove ranked number 2 in Class 4A. Arkansas, state runner-up last year, and they were like 14-2 last season, and you know, they're just a good football team every season. Prairie Grove gonna come down and play Vian at Vian, which ought to be a great football game.
Yeah. Didn't you say they were state runner-up last year?
They were state runner-up and made a good run in the playoffs. I think they were 13-2 or 14-2 last season. So of course, one of those losses in the state championship game. So you know, we'll get started this evening. We're going to talk about 4A4, and that's you know, me and you, we've covered 4A4 a lot.
Yeah,
you know, for
time.
years we've covered 4A4. That's been my primary district in class, you know, since I've covered high school football over 10 years now. And 4A4, you know, it looks really good this season. Of course, Metro Christian, they're favored to win the district, you know, but they lose a lot of kids. They lose their quarterback Anderson, so hard to replace that.
But the kid they're bringing in did play some last year, and which I didn't get his stats, but I think it was like completed 45 of 63 passes or something like that.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I mean, he's not just coming in, you know, new to the show. You know.
Right. Right. Behind Metro Christian is Poto. Poto, 12-1 team last year, made the state semifinals, lost on that crazy cold, rainy night. They played at neutral site Glenpool against Oologah. Oologah beat them pretty good, but Poto, I mean, they made a run. They had a remarkable season. Of course, when you have a remarkable season, you typically lose some remarkable players, and they did. You know, losing their all-time leading rusher, Brashears, rushed for thousands and thousands of yards over his career. They also lost Skelton, their top wideout, their top tackler, was Austin Archie. Lost him as well. But they do bring out back I believe he's their all-time leading passer, and he's a senior this year, and it's Klutz. I think it's Ben Klutz.
I think he's a Vibe 100 top pick too.
I believe he is too, and he's always good. The Klutz boys. I mean, they just send them in, and they're high school quarterback. And
well, they've even got another Cheers coming in.
Do they?
Yep, sure do.
And you know what? It says also here they have another skeleton too.
Yep.
So just reload.
Yep.
Just reload. Next in the conference would be Sallisaw. Sallisaw, perennial playoff team. Covered them for years. Love the Sallisaw Black Diamonds. Led by Coach Scott Bethel, remarkable coach, great high school football coach. Coach Bethel always gets the most out of his players. And they do bring back their tailback, Hunter Capehart, 6'2", 205-pound senior, really strong runner, and a good defensive player also on the other side of the ball.
He's had quite a bit of little weight there,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Last year about 185, maybe 190.
Right. Also, the Black Diamonds, they lost Scofus, who was probably their best overall player last year. But I tell you what, bringing Clay Glass back on the defensive side of the football, he's an animal. He's gained weight. They list him at 6 foot 190 now, so he's a lot bigger. I mean, I can't even imagine him putting on 20 pounds and playing football because he was a stud last year. He was all over the field. Jordan Oliver will start at quarterback this year. I know he played some safety last year. We got in some time, so he's good. And Brody Nicholson, he played a lot last year and made a good effort on the defensive side of the ball, and he's going to be playing tight end and defense. So, they're bringing some kids back.
Tight ends a lot like an H-back. They line them out there wide. They bring them in close.
Right, and of course, Sallisaw Black Diamonds always known for their offensive line, and they got some big offensive linemen led by Jason Bartell, 6'6", 290. I mean, that's just it's offensive tackle at the D1 level size, and also Josh Wiley, 6'4", 270. I mean, there's some just big kids up front.
And hey, they're all juniors.
They're all juniors. Jacob Brown also on the offensive line, 6'2", 240. So if he's going to play on the offensive line, you can almost guarantee he's going to be 250, 260, in a year or so. And I mean, just a lot of size, some good returning players. I really look forward to covering the Sallisaw Poto game. I think that'll be a really, really good game, and it's probably going to have a lot of playing into the district finals for 4A4. Who gets home field advantage, Sallisaw or Poto? You throw Metro Christian in there, that's pretty tough. And we haven't talked about it yet, but Hilldale moves into the district also. And they were undefeated last season until the playoffs, and they lost to Heritage Hall on that same rainy, cold night. Me and you were at Roland that night.
They went 12-1.
Yep, went 12-1. Me and you were at Roland that night for Roland and Jones. You remember that?
Yep.
And that was the night that Poto lost and Hilldale lost in the playoffs. Hilldale, of course, lost to Heritage Hall. So they're in the district. Broken Bow, I mean, they're much improved. They bring back a lot of players. They're projected 5th in the district. So, and Fort Gibson, number 6. But I think Fort Gibson might have lost their tailback. I think he may have transferred out. They said something about him transferring to Wagner.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he's going to be eligible at Wagner because they're talking about they're not going to.
He's a senior, it'd be hard.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to allow him that eligibility at Wagner. But if he's gone at Fort Gibson, I mean, that kills the Tigers' chances pretty much of making a playoff run. Will Rogers and Stillwell round out the district. Both of them, it's tough for them. 4A4 is a tough district for them. They typically always struggle. But you never know. Stillwell every now and then, will have some quality athletes. And, if they can just get them on the field and keep them from getting injured, then, they always got a chance.
Yep.
So next we'll move on to 3A6. And this is a new district that we're going to be covering this year, but we're really excited about it. Some really good teams in this district. 3 teams, I could see 3 of these teams, maybe 4, actually making a deep run into the playoffs. Cushing, projected to be number 1, ranked in the top 10 in the state.
State finalists 2 years ago.
State finalists 2 years ago. You know who they lost to?
Heritage Hall.
Heritage Hall. It seems like everyone loses to Heritage Hall.
Well, they're down in 4A now, so.
Right. So Cushing projected to win the district. Number 2, the Beggs Demons, and this is exciting. We're going to be covering Beggs Demons this year, and led by Coach Lee Blankenship in his 4th season. They return a lot of players.
Yeah.
They returned Tyler Murray, their quarterback, who's a dual threat type quarterback. He's got good legs, can really run. He had over 2,500 yards of total offense last season. I mean, that's
about 1,300 passing.
1,600 passing.
1,600
So
passing.
so you're talking about almost another 1,000 rushing. So I mean, he's gonna. It's exciting. It's exciting. And then then they got two really good running backs, sophomores, McCall and Sutter, and both of those guys, they call them Thunder and Lightning. And
you can see how big the difference in the size.
Yep, Sutter. McCall, the speed back, 5'7", 145, and Sutter, the pounding back, he's 5'11", 210. So, they'll hit you with a little speed and hit you up the middle with some power, and they'll try to go outside with speed and like to get those two guys the ball out of the backfield pretty much any way they can. They had three returning starters on the offensive line also for the Beggs Demons, which led by 6'6", 260-pound Chris Waltman. So the Demons going to be Demons looking to make another playoff run. They run a 4-2-5 scheme on the defensive side, so they have a lot of defensive backs. So if you try to spread them out, they got cover guys and they have speed. So I mean, they're almost the kind of team you want to play. You want to be big and physical, and you want to keep the ball away from them and just keep running, make them change their defense up. So Beggs Demons projected number 2 in 3A6. Number 3, the Sequoyah Wildcats. Chad Hendricks, 4th year at the helm. Man, he's had a lot of talent on that team. We covered him. We covered him a couple years ago at Roland when they were in the playoffs, and they had Drew Dan, their wide receiver. Well, he's D1 now, D1 wide receiver, stud.
And he looked the part.
Oh, he looked D1 on offense and defense.
Yes.
He was something else. But, I tell you what, they have a lot of guys. They're huge. I mean, we sat here and talked about Salisaw's offensive line. Dakota's bigger. And they're a 3A school.
And
they're bigger.
Close.
And it's not even close. No. They're led by D1 prospect Zach Hansen. And we're not talking about just D1 prospect. We're talking about, like, big-time Power 5 D1, Power 5 school D1 prospect.
Yes.
Zach Henson, 6'5", 315, tackle. I mean, he's ranked top VIP top 100, probably VIP top 50. I would say. I mean, he's a stud. Bollinger, 6'3", 280. I mean, just huge.
Well, if you remember 2 years ago,
huge.
Their quarterback could play line.
Yep.
That's
on
how
the
big they are.
D end.
Yeah,
yep.
That's how big they were.
Yep. Really good football team. The Sequoyah Wildcats projected top. I think they're projected top 20 in the state. Beggs projected 17th. So I mean, that district is really loaded with good teams. Sequoyah also. Let's see here. Tailback Ronnie Hall, Adrian Jones are gonna share the tailback spot. Logan Sands will be their wide receiver, and I think he plays on the defensive side also. He's a defensive back, so they got some returners. Of course, it always hurts to lose your quarterback and your best receiver, which is Dan. He's the best player on the field. Also in the secondary, played him at safety, and he was just all over the place. So it hurts losing those guys, but Sequoyah will be okay. Bristow Pirates and the Morris Eagles are the next two teams in that district projected. We don't really know anything about them. We're not going to cover them. Of course, we later on in the season we may be talking about them. If this 3A6 district heats up. But the Okmulgee Bulldogs. I mean, we're going to cover Okmulgee this season. We're really excited about it. Okmulgee's always got a lot of talent. Always got a lot of talent. Carl Lee's his first year, and that's the problem, coaching there. And this is Carl Lee's first year, so we're really hoping he can get established, get his system in place, and the Bulldogs can make a run. The offensive unit returned 7 starters, and it's like I said, they have a lot of speed. They'll do running back by committee with Jordan Lewis and Greg Jones. Henderson may be in there also. He's a power back, about 210-pound running back. Now, at wide receiver, they have William Shirley. And I know you remember.
He's the guy that could dunk.
He's got about a 50-inch vertical jump. He jumps out of the gym. He's 6'2", 185.
Yeah, they got athletes.
He can jump. And Travion Skinner also, 6'2", 195. I believe he was on the basketball team as well and could really, really go. So, I mean, you got athletes out there got athletes out there everywhere. Jake Barrett, freshman, will probably be the start. Will probably get the starting quarterback nod. Tough for a freshman to start, especially in 3A6, but you never know.
Well, but they've got a pretty older team now, and it could help him as long as he don't make mistakes in crucial situations.
Right. Corey Brinkley also, he's one of the returning offensive linemen. I think he's the only returning offensive lineman, 6 foot, 255, and he's I think he's the only returner up front.
Yeah,
so
they're searching.
You have to protect your freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to protect him. They returned 7 starters on defense, of course, led by William Shirley again and Eric Dan. Shirley plays corner, and I'm sure he will stick with you. He'll probably, as far as you go, if you go to the bathroom, he'll probably go in there with you. I mean, you probably can't catch a ball with him on you.
That probably ain't nothing he don't do at school.
Probably.
We know he's on the basketball team. Probably runs track.
Right. Travion Skinner, Greg Jones, safeties. Marquise Coleman also in the defensive backfield. Probably going to see Davion Nelson and Brinkley Ishmael up front at the defensive. Ishmael will be up front at the defensive tackle spot. Nelson probably going to play some linebacker for him, maybe some DN. So we'll see. Jordan Lewis, I think I mentioned him also. He'll be also a linebacker. He'll probably move him around, but he'll probably play in the middle there quite a bit. And we'll go now to Herman Brown now. He's got some coverage from the Okmulgee Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. He's an Okmulgee graduate, Okmulgee native, and he's back taking on the job of coaching up his Bulldogs. And so, Coach, welcome to the show. First of all, I'd like to ask you, how are you feeling about the Bulldogs as you approach the season?
We've
I can't hear anything.
This will be 15
It's gone now. Can't hear anything.
And it's kind of culture shock to some of the kids as far as the way we practice.
We lost it right when we started.
They've really taken to it.
Right.
We're kind of getting antsy and ready to see some new color, but we feel good about where we are right now.
Right. And Coach, how many players do you have out on the team, and how do you feel about that number playing in the
right now we're sitting about 42, 43, and to be honest with you, that's probably
maybe
kind
about
of average number for our size. Certainly
I think it may have some rain got on it.
We'll be building that through the junior high, the junior league, and increasing that. But we feel like we're in a pretty good spot from where we ended last year.
Right. And the other thing is, Coach, you obviously had the opportunity, even though this is your first year as head coach here, you also had the opportunity to work with them in the spring. You did your spring practice, you had summer pride, you had passing league. How do you feel about that coming to give you a leg up on getting ready to play September 2nd?
A lot of the guys that we got out, they came to all those events, especially summer stuff, the passing league, and then our summer pride. And we kind of tell the kids that we're going to prepare them in the summer for the fall, and we actually probably work longer in the summer than we do right now. So they've kind of started to see that a little bit, and they're starting to understand that a little bit. So we're just proud of their effort.
Right. And I'm thinking with the total kids you have out, you have some players that are back or starters, but I'm guessing it's a little bit new system, it's a new coach, so I'm assuming there's a whole lot of competition for a whole lot of spots. Is that right?
Yeah, with the exception probably of just, maybe 1 or 2, everything's pretty wide open, because, you try to get certain positions solid as fast as you can. Like quarterback, we feel good about a quarterback. And some other skill positions, but everything else is pretty wide open, and just try to open the competition and see who's going to step forward and who's going to step back. And right now we got a lot of guys fighting and jockeying for position, but that's why we're scrimmaging, so we'll get feel for that going Friday.
Right, and Okmulgee fans won't be culture shocked seeing a freshman run out there start, because it seems like the last 3 or 4 years, literally, we've started a freshman or sophomore every year, so they're not going, wow, you can't do it. That's a good play. Talk a little bit about the freshman, what just in general, because we don't want to talk about on these freshmen, but what does he bring to the table as far as being that leader on the field?
Jake, he comes from kind of a military family, and so he's real attention to detail oriented. He pays good attention when you teach him things. He's yes or no, sir. And as far as growing into that leader, that's something that we've try to bring him along and not throw all on him at once. But you can see it starting to blood out in him. And so he's taking control of the huddle, when we huddle, and do different things, and getting people in position. So, we feel really, really good about going forward, him being in that role.
Okay. And are you changing up your offense from what some of the kids ran last year? You have a new offensive style, new formation. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, what they were doing, it was kind of some air raid type stuff, and we have some of those principles, but we're a heavy zone team, and we're gonna focus on running football, and so that's just kind of our nature. That's kind of what Okmulgee's been known for. So we're probably a little bit different stylistically, but our approach is going to be the same.
It's football, and you get one ball, 11 guys on each side. All right, let's do this quickly as we start to run out of time. But Coach, would you give me a quick overview of this new district we're in, because it's changing up. We've got some Cushing, Beggs back. And tell me a little bit about the kind of heavy hitters you think in the district.
Well, I think Cushing's right up there with everybody. They're top 5, 10 team. Beggs top 5, 10 team. Sequoyah's a good program. Established. We're still coming from 4A playoff team last year. But we feel like we fit in there somewhere, hopefully in the middle, and just kind of see where it falls. But it's going to be really competitive. I feel like it's going to be competitive. I feel like there's going to be a lot of games that are going to be really tough, and that's kind of what we're scrimmaging tough with Pogo and those guys to get us ready for that. And so we just hope we can stay in there and fight out and have a chance to lose.
Right, and that might actually work to your advantage because it probably will be pretty balanced. So maybe Bristol's beating up on Cushing and Cushing beating up on men like that. Keeps everybody striking.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, anything else? Any last words for the fans this season?
We just hope to see them out, and we think, all the area support business. The business has been really great to us, and, thank you for coming out and doing the things you do, and we're glad to be home.
Right. We want to invite people to join that quarterback club.
Yes.
They're really ramping up, be active this year, so we want people to do that.
Absolutely.
So looking forward. All right, Carl Lee, Okmulgee Bulldogs, appreciate you, Coach. And we'll see you at a football field somewhere real soon. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
We appreciate Herman Brown for getting us. That footage, and Coach Carl Lee. We appreciate him for getting an interview with him. Good luck to the Bulldogs this season. To round out 306, we got the Kellyville Ponies. Don't expect much out of them this season. I don't think they really ever put up much of a fight, but you never know. So we'll go to 3A. Who is it?
That's where they're ranked in their class.
Yes, I noticed that. That's why I said Cushing was 10th.
Yep.
So now we'll go to 3A8, and we'll go right down the road from 3A6. And we'll start with the 3A8 predictions. And number 1 in the district is the Stigler Panthers. Big, physical, strong, pretty good skill players, but really, really physical defensively and offensively. I mean, really, they like to run the football. They like to pound it, and they're really just a really strong football team.
They're big. I mean, that's all you can say. I mean, I was looking at their picture in the Vite, and them was some big old boys. They match up to Sequoyah pretty good right there on size.
Stigler, yeah. Yeah, and really good linebacking core. I remember last year, just a really solid team. And, of course, we will have them on the broadcast this year against the Rolling Rangers on, when was that?
The September 30th.
September 30th, Rolling Rangers.
At Rolling.
Stigler Panthers. And that was they were 1-2 last year in the district. Rolling beat them. Rolling finished first in the district, and Stigler finished second. So that'll be exciting. And they're also ranked 8th in Class 3A. And 3A is 64-team district.
Yeah, that's
a really impressive to be ranked top 10 preseason in your class in 3A. And Stigler's number 8. Number 2 is the Idabel Warriors, who they lost their best player, the Lee kid, but apparently they have a lot of kids returning, a lot of speed, really good at the skill positions. Idabel ranked 19th preseason in the state, so you got to watch out.
That's a long old trip, though.
It is a long trip.
Half of the conference games are there.
Yeah.
I've made that trip to watch Sallisaw Park.
Further than Broken Bow.
Yeah, it's
further than Broken Bow. Broken Bow's a haul.
Yeah.
Number 3, projected number 3 in the district, the Muldrow Bulldogs. Terry Jones back at the helm, second year. really did a good job last year guiding the Bulldogs. They really had a turnaround season. We covered them that rainy night over there in Muldrow when they beat Salisaw on that last second play of the game.
It's pouring down rain.
Really, really solid team. Muldrow really battled last year. And again, last year they were in 4A. This year they dropped down to 3A. So, I'll tell you what, if you're a Muldrow Bulldog fan, you really have to be optimistic because, I mean, this could be your year. You could get a playoff berth. You could possibly host a home playoff game. I mean, really, Muldrow Bulldogs, they've been down for a while in football.
That's a tough conference right there, man.
It is a tough conference, but, hey, I'd rather be here than sitting in 4A4 with Metro Christian and Salisaw, Poto, and Hilldale. I mean, your playoff chances are pretty much none.
Well, you can almost guarantee the first 2 slots in 4A4 or
Right. You can almost pencil in Salisaw, Poto every year, and then with Metro moving into the district, Metro's there almost every year. So then, who's your 4th team? I mean, Broken Bow. God, they've been good over the years. I mean, you never know, and usually there's a team move in and out, and now you have Hilldale in the district, so it's just a tough district. Muldrow, though, projected 3rd. They bring back Braden Gleason. We talked about him a lot. He's a really good quarterback, smart. Completed 60% of his passes. He threw for almost 1,000 yards, and he really didn't even start the whole season. I think they had a quarterback in front of him to begin the season last year. Because they bring back Tyler Stevenson and Amari Hardwick at receiver, both veteran players, both averaged over 10 yards a catch last season. So they're not really just possession receivers. I mean, they'll go downfield and catch the ball as well. Braden Shulin, he will probably get the starting nod at running back. Rushed for almost 500 yards last season. They kind of did it by committee last year. I know they ran a lot of jet sweeps last year, and the Sharp kid got a lot of carries. They had Benton Coleman last year. You remember Benton Coleman? Is it a little bit loud for you, buddy? Benton Coleman. You remember him last season?
Yeah.
Had a lot of carries. They really had a lot of good, smaller kids, but good skill kids last year. So they're kind of coming back with that this year. They have some more kids coming up, but look for Shulin to be one of the running backs. Alan McCullens is back at center, and guard Mason Leslie he's back also. Not a huge offensive line. McCullens kind of anchors that group at center. He's about 280.
But in 3A. You'll have a few schools that'll be have huge offensive lines like Sequoyah and Stigler.
Yeah.
But it's not the case in most schools.
Right.
The 3A. They're smaller, not 250 size kids. 220. Offensive linemen.
Right. You'll see the 4-2-5 defense out of Coach Terry Jones's Bulldogs. Amari Hardwick, he had 38 tackles last year. He'll be in there. Shulin again, he said 45 tackles. Those 2 guys will probably play linebacker spots. You might see Hardwick at safety. They'll move him around a little bit. Sparkman up front, he's about 235. Probably play some end tackle. Dakota Willett, 6', 220. You'll probably see him up in there in the middle a little bit. Cade Floyd and Gage Ramey, they're going to be in the defensive backfield. And Shane Marion, 6', 180 pounds. He will probably play some linebacker. You'll probably see Marion and Shulin at linebacker, and you'll see Hardwick and Ramey, and Floyd in the secondary with a couple other guys. That'll be their 4-2-5 offense. Now we go right down the road to the Rolling Rangers, and the Rolling Rangers, I mean, they're coming off two really good seasons, but they lost their quarterback. The quarterback graduated, and he was, he was really important to the offense. I mean, he was a really good quarterback.
D1. He's playing D1 college football, right?
Yep. Went to TU, and he'll play in the defensive backfield at TU. But it hurts losing, your offensive leader, and he's been that quarterback, for 3 years. We're talking about Manuel Bunch.
Yeah.
But he's been that quarterback for 3 years. It's hard because you've had him every season, and now you got to replace him. You got to put someone else in there.
Well, when you run that read option style offense,
quarterback powers, read options. Yep.
You got to know when to pull it and when to hand it off. You know?
But it also helps having Cervante Knowles back. Two-time state track champion, won it again last year in the 400. I mean, unbelievable speed. You got to find a way to get him the ball in the open field, because once he gets it there, he's gone. But you got to find a way to get him in the open field. But he's bigger. He's put on weight. They list him at 6'1", 180 now. So, I mean, a bigger running back, and they'll probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in maybe at slot some, just to try to get him the ball outside and get him down the field. Elijah Dalton is probably going to get the nod at quarterback for the Rangers. Really don't know anything about him. He's 6 foot, 175 pounds, so comparable with the Bunch. Bunch was about 6'2". Yeah. But a lean 6'2". I'm sure now at TU they'll probably put 20 pounds on him when he gets up there.
Oh, he's probably got that.
Probably so. Yeah, he's been up there since the wintertime.
Yeah.
I think he graduated early and got up there. Probably got on the weight program while they got up there. Mustaine at receiver, 5'9", 145 pounds, averaged over 20 yards a catch last season. So a big play threat there. You'll see, probably going to see Logan Wolf and Jackson Wells also get some time outside at the outside receiver spots. Might see, probably see Wells and Mustaine play more of the inside receiver roles. Julius Plummer, remember him from the basketball court, rebounding machine.
Yeah.
He will also probably play some receiver or tight end. He's put on some weight too. He's 6'2", 180 now. So another athletic kid out there. Jacob Matlock, Elijah Moore, Austin Gibbs on the line for the Rangers. Zach Mueller, the sophomore, and Devin Kelsey. They may get some time also. Prentice Peters along with that on the offensive line for the Rangers. Of course, Rangers, they're a playoff team every season. They're a perennial playoff team. Defensively,
well, they got the athletes.
They do have the athletes. Defensively, the Rangers looking to reload on defense. They only gave up 16 points a game last season, the Rangers did. That's really good in the class they were in and the teams they played in the playoffs, especially. But, Jones really couldn't get going against Jones because that night was sloppy.
Oh, it's horrible.
It was horrible not to play football. Of course, a lot of your better teams lost that night. If I remember correctly, that was even the same weekend that Locust Grove went down to Lone Grove and just got absolutely hammered.
That was the next weekend.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because you were at home watching that, and you.
No, I think it was that day. I think it was earlier that day. Remember, they moved it up to 1 o'clock.
I thought it was the next weekend.
I think it was that day.
Because remember, we had all that rain just. You
may be right. You may be right, but
it just blew through.
It wasn't. I don't even know if it was the quarter. I don't think it was. It might have been the quarterfinals, but it wasn't the semifinals because they were still at neutral.
They got drilled.
77-0 or something like that. It was crazy. The Rangers back on defense. They only gave up, like I said, 16 points a game. Created 37 turnovers last season. 27 sacks. I mean, that's going to be tough to follow up. They have Mustaine at corner, can fly. Javen Bray, he will lead the group at linebackers. Jacob McElhaney will probably play a little bit there. Jacob Cantrell, Logan Wolf, and Jackson Wells, they will probably get some secondary time in the defensive backfield. Prentice Peters, Devin Kelsey, Malcolm Collins. Malcolm Collins will play one of the end spots for the Rangers, and Peters up front. And they got their nose guard back. It's the Percival kid, Tyler Percival, back at nose guard. So Rangers, they got them ranked a little bit low here compared to what they have been, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers are top 3, top 2 in their district again.
That's a tough district right there.
It is a tough district. Now we'll go. Let's talk about the Eufaula Ironheads.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about tradition.
Big time.
Tons of tradition.
Hey, and we're going there. Hallowed ground, buddy.
We are. We're covering the Iron Bowl. Actually, we're covering them. I think week 2.
Well, the Iron Bowl's at Sequoyah. Actually,
we're covering them week 2. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We're going there week 2.
Week 3.
Vian.
Week 4.
Week 4 is Iron Bowl at Sequoyah.
Yeah.
Week 2 at Eufaula.
Oh yeah, hallowed ground.
Hallowed ground.
Who walked that ground?
Well, the Selman brothers.
Right.
J.C. Watts, their quarterback, of course, OU's quarterback and congressman, U.S. congressman. Just a remarkable talent. I mean, remarkable players from Eufaula. I mean, other than Ada, Clinton, not really Jinx, not really any other schools in any class in the state match up, and those schools might not even really, comparable to NFL talent that they had on their team. So, well, the Ironheads returned 9 starters. Gunnar Ford, 6'1", 205. He's a 4-year starter in the backfield. And, they don't know yet, but we have reported that he'll play quarterback or halfback. We're not sure. If he's playing quarterback, you're probably going to see some option, a lot of read option type game. Hunter Heiler, 5'11", 165, smaller kid. He's their other quarterback. Yeah. So, but he will also be in the backfield, and they say Heiler is their fastest player on their team. So, you're going to get probably a read option between them two. I don't know. You follow his offense, they might line up and run I formation. They might run option out of a power I.
Yeah.
You never know. Also in the backfield, Garrison Morgan, sophomore Zach Anderson. You're going to see Jesse Walker and Dylan Anderson at receiver. And the line has 3 seniors coming back on the offensive line. And we're talking about kids that are comparable to Chakotah size-wise. So when you see Chakotah Eufaula, you're going to see a battle up front with some big kids. Tillotson, 6'3", 275 up front. Jake Eslick, 6'3", 290. You got Gage Barnes and Dylan Atwood. They list Atwood at 6'2", 290. So you're going to have an average of about 270, 265, 270 on the offensive line. So, Dakota Adams in there also. Defensively, they run the 4-4 defense. So they're going to run a lot of linebackers. You're going to see linebackers all over the field. They won't have a true nose guard. They'll have 2 defensive tackles. And they made it to the playoffs last year, and they started 6 freshmen on defense last year and made it to
in the first game of the playoffs.
Yeah, and went to the playoffs and started 6 freshmen. So, you're going to have a lot of kids coming back, a lot of sophomores. This Eufaula team could be good in the next. This may not be the year for Eufaula. The year for Eufaula may be in a couple years. You're going to see Dakota Adams again on the defensive line. You're going to have Gunnar Ford at linebacker. Tristan McDonald probably going to be on the. He's probably going to be on the outside, on the inside. Tristan McDonald will probably play inside linebacker. Zach Anderson on the outside. You're going to see Noah Drake, Jesse Walker, Dylan Anderson in the secondary for the Ironheads. So, I tell you what, 3A8 really looks like a tough district. And what's even better is we get to cover it. So
yeah, I'm excited about it.
The Heavener Wolves round out District 3A8, and now let's talk about some 2A football. We got the Vian Wolverines heading to the new 2A5 conference, heading into the new district this season. The Vian Wolverines ranked 9th by, is it Vipe?
Vipe.
Okay, Vipe's got them ranked 9th. I think another media source had them ranked 5. So Vian, it's going to be really.
We'll give them the 5.
We'll give them the 5. Projected to win the district over Okemah, who were the district champs last year. Haskell made it to the state championship game. Haskell didn't win their district last year. Haskell finished second. Okemah won that district last season. Vian averaged 41 points a game last year, led by Taron Moses, the running back, 5'9", 160, and has remarkable speed. If he gets the ball in the open field, he's gone. There's just nothing you can do about it. No stopping him.
Yeah, he's got sprinter speed.
So they're going to try to get him the ball any way they can. He'll line up at running back. They'll probably try to do some screen passes to kind of get him out in space. He's going to be one of the most exciting players you'll see on our broadcast this year. Will be Moses. Rain Cloud will play quarterback, 6'2", 190 for the Wolverines. Great name, love it. Rain Cloud. Of course, Vian led by a new head coach, Coach Willis over there, and he's got to be excited. His son played at Vian. He was an assistant. Stepped up and took the head coaching job. So, really excited for him. We're going to see receivers, Bodie Van, who played a lot last season. Brett McFarland is a possession receiver. You'll probably see Levi Ragsdale along with Randy Adair as well at receiver. You're going to have a lot of – you're going to be the line's led by a 4-year starter. Kid started when he's a freshman. It's Shelton Skaggs. He's been there and just led the way. Not a huge kid, but – if you play line at Vian, you got to be able to move.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to move on those screens. You got to get outside. You got to pull. You got to trap. You got to do you got to do a lot if you play line at Vian because their offense is pretty dynamic. Tyrus Wells, Bobby Risley, Cade Cato, and probably senior Robbie Reason's also going to get some time on that offensive line for the Wolverines. On defense, the Wolverines held their opponents to, they averaged over 41 a game, and they held their opponents to under 12 a game. I mean, that's remarkable.
And there was 5 games that they give up less than 7 points.
Yes. And they have the sophomore back leading the way at linebacker. It's River Simon. Of course, he's a Simon, says it all. His brothers were great linebackers. He follows right in their footsteps. He had 127 tackles last season.
That's unreal.
And 5 fumble recoveries.
That's unreal.
I mean, he's everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't run the concession stand because he'll go over there and tackle you.
I mean, 100. Think about that. 127 tackles.
And 5 fumble recoveries. It's unreal. As a freshman.
Yeah.
He'd probably go for 150 this season. 150 tackles.
He's liable got a chance to break some records and tackles.
He probably will break some records. We'll see Raincloud also and Chris Logan at the other 2 linebacker positions. You probably see it looks like they're going to run more of a 4-3 type with 3 backers. Skaggs had 56 tackles last season. So
yeah, they're really good at the linebacker spot.
Robbie Reasons and nose guard Graylin Fletcher will man the line. Graylin Fletcher, mean little. He's short, but he's mean. He's really good at the nose guard position.
And how do you know this?
He's umped some baseball games for me. Graylin has, but wrestles. I think he's wrestles too. No, but I've got after him a few times. Cato Kalin. I mean, Cato. OJ's not involved, so don't worry.
Oh my goodness.
Cade Cato and Christian Crisp and Levi Ragsdale, they'll play some in for the Wolverines. Bodie Van, 50 tackles. He's in the defensive backfield. Freshman made 50 tackles.
That's your safety.
Yeah, and he made 50 tackles.
2 freshmen, and they had almost 175 tackles.
They'll have over 200 tackles this year. 2 sophomores. Randy Adair, of course, you'll see Moses in the secondary also some. Probably won't play a lot back there, but against better teams, you'll see him back there in coverage.
What I heard he's really their lockdown corner.
He's their lockdown corner. Well, then put him out there. Yeah. Heck, he might have 50 tackles too. You never know.
You ain't going out running.
No, Brett McFarland and Luke Palmer, they round out the secondary. And now we'll go back to Darren. We got some footage from head coach Gary Willis.
Been an assistant the last couple of years, but took over the head coaching job. Had been friends with Coach Tyler for years, played him when I was at Keys, and been on the other side of the ball from him, but come down to work with him a couple of years and coach quarterbacks and free safeties. Took over the offense this spring and, gave me a chance to get in with the offense and get to know all the kids and kind of run things, and made for a smooth transition as Coach Tyler moved on to Van Buren, and, I took over the head role. We have high expectations. Every year we'll set them, no matter where we'll set them, win the district title, and play for a state championship. And we plan on Vian. Vian's been an elite team in Oklahoma, and we plan on keeping it there and consistently playing for gold balls. And we have some talent to do that. So. We'll take what the defense gives us, and Vian's been known for running the ball, and that's where we'll hang our hat. But people load the boxes with 8 and 9. We're not going to be stubborn. We'll take we'll sling it around and take what they give us. So, yeah, we got Teron Moses too, going to be a senior. He ran for over 1,900 yards in 11 games last year, and broke a bone in his leg in the playoff game and missed a couple of playoff games. And dampened things a little bit toward the end of the year, but his backup would start for a lot of 2A teams in Oklahoma, Bodie Van, and then our quarterback Raincloud's a senior. Rain through had over 100 attempts and no interceptions last year, so just a real heady, good decision maker. And then at linebacker you got Riley Simon. River Simon, brothers Rowdy and Riley both are playing at TU, and that same bloodline. He led the team in tackles last year as a freshman with 118. So expect good things out of him, and he's calling the defense as a sophomore, with 118 tackles under his belt. So to be good things there. But just the, you point out those guys because of stats, but just the overall team and the way kids work down here is special. Exciting, I've seen a lot of small 2A or a lot of small Oklahoma towns, and getting ready to see some more we haven't seen. But Haskell defending, they were runner-up last year's state championship game to Adair. They're in our district. Okmulgee, talented. Sequoyah. Some teams I haven't played much, but have seen them and know of their athletic ability, and it's going to be fun.
What about Prairie Grove?
Prairie Grove, don't know a lot about them. I know they're, runner-up in Arkansas, and obviously going to be a big challenge for us, and, we're excited to go compete in that.
Just want to say congrats on the new job, and
Thank you.
we're excited about the season, and
We're excited
I
too.
think good.
All right.
Well, appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
We went over and watched them a couple times in the playoffs, and they're always very athletic, and just wide open.
Yes, always.
Yes.
So good luck to Coach Willis and the Vian Wolverines this season. We hope to make a playoff run. Hopefully we get to broadcast them some in the playoffs. Hopefully they make a deep run in the playoffs, and possibly get to where Adair and Davis is somewhere along the way, and have a really good matchup there.
Hey, don't they have a good burger joint in Vian too? Or they did?
They got Bubba's. Bubba's.
We'll have to be stopping at Bubba's.
Vian, again, projected number 1 in 2A5. Okmulgee, number 2. Okmulgee ranked 12th in the state also. Okmulgee, I tell you what, don't look past Okmulgee, because they're district champs. Vian's coming in, and Okmulgee doesn't like it.
No.
They don't like it at all. And again, you go down to number 3, and it's the Haskell Haymakers, and what are they? They're state runner-up. They lost to Adair in the state championship game. Now they lost like 70-0, but they made it to the state championship game and fought. So
who did they play in the state?
Adair.
Well,
Adair hammered them.
Goodness, we've been there.
Right. And Haskell ranked 15th preseason by VIPE. Number 4, the Wewoka Tigers, always tough, scrappy team, usually pretty athletic. I think we're not covering Wewoka Vian game, but we were talked about it, but we're not. But Wewoka, another one of those teams. They're scrappy, and they're really, really typically athletic, an athletic squad. Number 5 in the district is the Henrietta Knights, Troy Aikman's old alma mater. So we got Henrietta. I think we have 2 Henrietta games, right? I think so.
We just got one.
Just one?
Yep.
Henrietta Muldrow?
Muldrow Henrietta.
So Henrietta looks like they're preseason 5 in District 2A5, led by head coach Darren Johnson.
Henrietta returns a lot of kids.
They have a lot of seniors. They have 3 senior offensive linemen back: Bryce Sanford, Rhett Williams, and Kyle Tarkington. You're talking about their running backs back, who's Avery Moore. He had over 1,200 yards last year running the football. That's over 100 yards a game in 10 games. I mean, there's 120 yards a game for the running back. That's 11 touchdowns. So he averaged 167 all-purpose yards a game. So, I mean, really a dynamic player in the backfield. You'll see Darius Tiger back there. He's gonna move. Tiger will be their quarterback this season, preseason-wise, per Johnson. But he's been a receiver, but they're moving him to quarterback this year. Exciting player. Brandon Murphy will lead the way at receiver. He had 29 catches last year. He's about a 6'1", 175-pound senior, pretty athletic. They play a 3-3-5 defense, and we've seen 3-3-5s. OU's ran a 3-3-5, in the past. I think Mike Stoops has changed it up a little bit here and there with the personnel he has. They got a strong 3 on the second 3 of their linebackers. They got Bryce Sanford there, and Tarkington and Tanner Dodge are the 3 linebackers. They each averaged over 5 tackles a game last year, and that's nothing like Simon-type tackles. But good tacklers. Brandon Murphy, again, the 6'1" wide receiver I was telling you about.
Yeah. He
He had 3 interceptions. He leads the secondary. Core. Also, Tiger, the quarterback, he had 6 interceptions last year. So, pretty good. It sounds like they're pretty good up front. and it sounds like they got a couple skill kids that can go too. So exciting year for the Henrietta Knights. Of course, we will cover them against the Muldrow Bulldogs. The Holdenville Wolverines round out 2A5. Don't really know anything about them. Not going to cover them.
No.
Good luck though to the Wolverines.
Yeah.
The Vian Wolverines. So we're gonna round it out now with 2A8, and of course, speaking of 2A8, we got the Central Tigers out on the field right now. You know, the Tigers have always been a really good football team. Class A, you can see their facilities out here are really, really nice. Can you pan around, Darren, and we'll show them the facilities here at Salisaw Central. Really, really nice facilities for a Class A school. I mean, comparable to, you know, a lot of 2A schools. So just a really nice.
I hadn't been out here in a while, so I didn't even know they had a new football field.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, nice. Just a nice place. Of course, they're scrimmaging Westville tonight, but the Central Tigers, they're projected 3 in Class A8. Number 1, and always number 1 in A8, the Tallahena Golden Tigers, ranked number 4 in Class A. Always semifinal team every year, and always typically send 2 or 3 athletes on to the next level.
Yeah.
And really good next level teams also. The Savannah Bulldogs, again, Central and Savannah, they've had some battles over the past few seasons, and Central and Tallahena's had some battles over the last few seasons. Savannah Bulldogs, and they're ranked 18th preseason by VIPE. Number 3, the Central Tigers, led by Coach Jeremy Thompson. They only have 2 returning starters on offense, and that's why they didn't get the number 2 preseason nod. But they got a lot of talent on this football team, and it's going to be an exciting year for the Bulldogs. They have Dalton Edwards back on the line, 6'2", 230. Deem back at tight end, 5'10", 185. And you know at Central, they don't play 8-man football anymore. They play 11-man football. And quarterback Cordell Giles will be he'll be the starter at quarterback this year. I know his dad, really probably going to be a good quarterback, 6'1", 170 pounds. He's only a sophomore, so they're going to break him in early, which is going to be good. You're going to see Nathaniel Thomas at running back. He's 5'11", 220, so a big, powerful running back. And you'll see Braden Coble also getting some carries. He's 5'8", 160. So you got a 220-pound back and a 160-pound back. You're going to see a little more thunder lightning there out of the Tiger backfield. They'll play a 4-4 on defense. The Tigers are led by Canyon Deem, 6'1", 220, who's I'm assuming he's Forrest Deem's brother, who's their tight end. 6'1", 220. That's a big defensive end. Bush, also 180-pound, 6-footer. He'll be the other defensive end. Dalton Edwards, talk about him on returning starter, 230-pound on offense. Well, he's going to flip right around, and he's going to play at defensive tackle on defense. They're going to be solid up the middle. Dalton Dewberry, 5'10", 180. Probably going to see him there also in the middle. And you talk about smaller, you talk about a 180-pound kid in the defensive end, defensive tackle spot, quick. Usually they're really quick and can get off blocks. That's what you want. You see Nathaniel Thomas, and again, Giles and Forrest Deem, they're going to play the linebacker spots. Coble and Alex Bailey are going to be your top defensive backs for the Tigers this year. Bo Johnson, Jace Beard, and Tanner Loggins, they're probably going to get some play also in the defensive backfield. So we're looking forward to it. The Tigers, we will cover them this year. We've got them on a Friday night.
October 14th,
Friday night. Pecola's here. And speaking of Pecola's projected 4th in the district. So
it could be a big game.
It's going to probably be, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say it, but if Savannah falls off, Pecola and Central, that game may be between 2 playoff teams fighting for a home field advantage in the first round. And should be a good game. The Warner Eagles projected 5th in the district, followed by Quentin Savages and the Gore Pirates. Gore down a little bit. They have been down. Their enrollment's down a lot, you know. Yeah. Central has a lot bigger enrollment than Gore does now.
Oh, do they?
Yep, they do. They do. Gore is down. I don't know why. Maybe Vian. I don't know. Maybe the better athletes are going to Vian. I don't know. But that wraps up our district coverage. Really excited about these districts we're going to be covering because they're completely different than what we've been doing. Something new. We'll go over some rankings now. 6A1, we'll go top 4 rankings in the class. 6A1, Union, Jinx, Southmore, and Broken Arrow. Of course, Union, Jinx, Broken Arrow, top 3 every year.
Yeah.
6A2, Bixby, Booker T, Washington, Midwest City,
Two-time
Sand Springs,
champions.
Bixby, Booker T, and Midwest City. Those three are always up there, and you can usually throw a Lawton school in there too. And
I think Lawton was 5.
Lawton Mac actually moved down to 5A. So Collinsville, led by Levi Draper, is number 1 in 5A. Lawton Mac, number 2. Bishop McGinnis, a team we know well, down at number 3. And McAllister ranked 4. Of course, McAllister also always ranked top 5. 4A is led by Wagner, state champion. Number 2, 3A state champion Heritage Hall moves in there. And number 3, Oologah, who's what, 3-time state runner-up, I think.
I thought Oologah beat them last year.
No, Wagner state champions again. Wagner's like 3-time in a row, 3-peat, 2 or 3-peat. They beat Oologah every year in the state
that
championship
kid
game.
from Fort Gibson could play for them.
And they're in the same district.
Yeah.
Tuttle rounds out the top 5. I hear Tuttle's loaded too. 3A.
Heritage Hall, though.
Heritage Hall. Yeah, but they lose a lot, but you're right. They are a machine. Well, when you produce Sterling Shepard, Barry Sanders, Wes Welker, I mean.
And then they got an offensive lineman there. Ain't he one of the best in the country?
Yeah. 3A Lincoln Christian Bulldogs, number 1, who they're loaded. John Marshall Bears, Anadarko Warriors moving down from Class 4A. Of course, they're going to be top 3. And a team we seen last year was the Jones Longhorns. Incredible wide receivers and a really good quarterback. They try to go down the field on you and throw on you, but them and Roland, they played on that sloppy night over there in Roland, and it could have been anyone.
Well, it was a close game all the way through. And then the big wide receiver, one of them kids that looks the part, you know.
Yeah. They had a couple 6'5" receivers.
He made a couple plays there late in the game on offense, and it got him down, and it's what wound up costing him Roland.
Class 2A, of course, number 1, number 2. Who would have guessed? Adair Warriors, number 1. Davis Wolves, number 2. Just take your pick. I mean, they're going to be playing each other in the playoffs again, probably in the same. It'll be at Adair this year, though.
Yeah.
Which we've made the trip to Adair before. We went up and watched that game before, and it's. I mean, there's 8,000 people at the game.
Unreal.
At a field this size,
a
2A field this size, there will be 8,000 people at the football game.
We almost had to park in downtown Adair.
We stood about where we are now just to see the game.
Just to watch the game.
This far behind the goalpost, it was standing room only. So,
never seen nothing like it.
Never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. Chisholm Longhorns, they actually beat out Vian last year in the playoffs at Chisholm. You remember on that sleet that day? It was sleet. I think it was the same day. It was the same day.
Yeah, because it was sleeting. It was that line.
They were at Enid.
There was a line.
Chisholm is at Enid. That was the same day Locust Grove lost, and the same day that Roland lost. Roland lost that night.
Remember Vian? Winter like that again.
That's crazy. Well, we didn't get any ice after that.
We didn't, but we had a lot of rain.
Washington Warriors round out the top 4. Class A. Cashin Wildcats, always really, really good.
Yeah.
Hominy Bucks, too. Rejoice Christian Eagles, a private school, not surprised. And the Tallahassee Golden Tigers, who's always usually top 3. I'm surprised they're even. I'm really surprised to see them at 4. I can see them top 2. So, you don't have Class B and C here, huh?
Nah.
Yeah, skipped on it. Skipped out on it.
Run out of time.
Ran out of time. And we're about to run out of time, but I'm really looking forward to the schedule. We're looking forward to getting going next week. We want as much participation as we can get from the fans.
Well, doing this new, we've got some giveaways and stuff. I think we're even going to give something away tonight.
We are going to give something
away. But
our
big giveaway is, what size TV was that again, Dan?
42.
42-inch ish TV. I mean, can I win it?
I don't think you're eligible.
I went to get my haircut.
You may be eligible for other things, but you're not eligible for winning that TV.
That ain't fair. Man.
So we're going to draw it.
I think Darren's wife was upset that she wasn't eligible to win it.
We're going to draw it out of a hat. We'll let Bailey draw it out of a hat. How about that?
We'll let Bailey can come over here.
Come over here and draw it out of a hat for us.
Draw it out of a.
Are you excited?
Oh, she's got a new grill.
That's exciting. Are you excited?
But we're gonna do a lot of things. We're hoping to be able to have some fans ask us questions,
right.
And we'll answer them on the air. and
Right.
hopefully we might even be able to communicate while we're doing games.
Yeah, we want
You know.
to do question and answers.
Yeah.
With we want to do question and answers with our fans, but you have to get on the YouTube channel, or you can send your questions into our Facebook page, the CHSN Facebook page. But if you're watching the game on the YouTube channel, then you could ask us questions as the game's going on.
Yeah.
So if you're on YouTube, go to our channel, you're doing the live stream, watching the game, you can actually ask the questions right there, and I'll try and be on there to answer questions if you have any. I may not be able to answer them, but
We'll do our best,
we'll do our best. So we're ready. Now, what is this giveaway for? Is this for a Roku? This one's for the Roku. Okay, you gonna get a Roku?
What's a Roku?
Well, it's like a streaming device.
Oh, you plug it in the back of your TV.
Yes. Yeah, I think you go HDMI
that.
from the Roku to your TV.
Okay.
Yep. We're gonna let Bailey do the drawing here. We got stuff flying around. Go ahead and shake it up. All right. Good. Now Bailey, draw a name. What do we got here? Dean Smith. The old coach, Dean
From North Carolina. He
Dean
entered it.
Smith
He entered
wins.
it. Hey, tell him we want some Tar Heel blue shorts.
Dean Smith, you're our winner of our Roku. Darren will get a hold of you in the next few days, and through Facebook, you'll get a Facebook message. So,
Hey, did you hear something?
No, what was it?
One of our good fans, Ernie Harris, I just heard him slam something down in the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Because he didn't win.
Dean Smith is our winner of the Roku. Congratulations to Dean. We'll send you a message on Facebook. Darren will anyway, and we'll get that Roku to you, and then you can enjoy YouTube on the Roku, and you can watch us all season.
Netflix?
Yes.
Have you seen the llamas over there?
No llamas. Anyway, we want to appreciate everyone for watching tonight. This is our inaugural kickoff show. It's exciting. Again, week 0 next week. Where are we going to be at, Jimbo?
Rolling.
Yes, we'll be right down 64 Highway
Rolling.
at the end of Sequoyah County.
Rolling.
Sequoyah Wildcats, Rolling Rangers. If you remember, that's a big matchup, playoff matchup from a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Going to be a good game. We're excited. We appreciate everyone watching at home. Stay tuned in. Subscribe. Like us on Facebook. Do whatever you can. We appreciate everyone watching at home. For Bailey, Jim, Darren, everyone have a good week. We'll see you Friday.